I'm face to face with a man whose success story is a legend. But he inspires awe not only for his business achievements, but because he's got his heart in the right place. Mr. PNC Menon, founder and chairman emeritus of Sobha Developers. Thank you so much. It's an honor and a privilege, sir, to have you accept the NDTV Lifetime Award in real estate.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I'm going to start with something very interesting I read about you.
Yes.
That you can't even tolerate a speck of dust on your shoes. How did you manage construction sites?
It's a difficult situation, but anyway, we can do it. It's not an impossible task. And I've been in the industry for the last 42 years. And I've learned one thing: unless you keep the site clean, you cannot get the quality. You've got to definitely make an effort. India, it's difficult, but we are practicing it and we are doing our best. I think we have reached, in a global standard, I would say that 80% we have achieved, global standard.
I've also been reading one common trait in all your interviews, that is that you've got this obsessive attraction to perfection. So let's go through your journey. Pickup van, doing those interior projects in Oman 40 years ago, to now when you build an empire of $600 million. When did you get addicted to perfection, or was it something that you had in you as a child?
I think it was there right at the beginning. But the requirements are very subjective, very subjective. According, see, when you sit in India, you do not understand the international standards. So within India, you feel that you've done it better than somebody else. But when I moved into Gulf first, when I saw it, I was just wondering whether I'll fit into that part of the world. It was a big shock for me initially. But there was a challenge, I did not have money. My experience in India was limited to the international requirements. Then still I took it as a challenge. The biggest problem was I didn't have any capital. That's how it started. So perfection was there right at the beginning. Whatever little I do, I always used to say that you got to fine tune it to make the best. As a street side contractor, I was the best.
You were the best?
Yeah.
My goodness, I'm wondering what that best was then.
Yeah, because, different levels, you go from a street side to a briefcase contractor, to a shop contractor, to next level, and we have come through an evolution of different levels of contracts.
Okay, just explain to me some of the defining moments. You talked about some part of excellence, but what we hear is 1995, Narayan Murthy's story, the first Infosys building and office was conceived, but I'm sure there must be many more in your life.
So the biggest break I got was in 1984. That means 8 years after I reached Oman, my first destination in the Gulf. And it was to work for the Palace of Oman. That was a big challenge because generally you must have the merit to get into the palace. It's not the money alone. You cannot give a low price and get into the palace.
Absolutely.
That was the biggest break in my life, and that is in 1984, which is about 29 years now. Even today, I work for the Palace of Oman. I work for other 4 rulers also. I work for the Kings of Bahrain, the royal family of Qatar, and also the royal family of the Sultan of Brunei. So this is one of the biggest things in my life. It may not be in terms of money, it may not be big.
But it's very prestigious.
Capability wise, you got to be really capable because the choice is so much for them. They can choose anybody around the world.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's so true. So let's come back to India per se. Is India a market that excites you a lot? Because a lot of MNCs and even real estate funds have decided to pull out of India. The red tapes, the approval process, all of that they find very, very cumbersome. Is it the Indian DNA that you have basically which allows you to work in this environment and not get disappointed?
I've been here for the last 19 years, Initially there was a problem, I came from a different environment. But as an Indian, who grew up here, I could adjust myself. Of course, we do not make many compromises. We make sure that, we follow.
So how do you navigate the red tape here?
It is difficult.
It is difficult.
But it's possible.
Yeah. All right. So in terms of the quality that you deliver in Gulf, like you said, the standards were very different and you were compelled to bring the same standards to India. Do you think in India you've reached those standards? Or do you think, skill-wise, the technology-wise, India could scale up much more?
See, what I did was, when I came at the beginning, I saw the quality which was being delivered. To be very honest, I felt we are about 30 years behind. I could not bridge the 30 years gap overnight. So first thing I did was to go into backward integration. We started our own joinery and cabinetry shop, world class. We went to making blocks and curbstones and pavers. Then we went into steel fabrication, all in-house plus architectural studio.